You don't wait for me, 'cause I keep breathing fire. I won't wait for you, 'cause you keep telling lies. I keep going high, she keeps going low. At the end of the day, she's gone. But you don't wait for me, 'cause I keep breathing fire. And you keep telling lies.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Outcasts to Icons with me, who at school was voted most likely to rig an election. I also won most handsome that year too. As always, if you're enjoying the series so far, drop a like on the video. That would be superb. Does help out all that jazz algorithm something. So, 17th place. I feel like it looks worse than it is, but it still looks kind of bad. It's kind of like a leg break, but the bone isn't actually sticking through the skin currently. That's the level we're at right now. 5 points above the drop zone, of course, but we do have a game in hand. And were we to actually win in today's game, like, conceivably, we would move straight up to 10th place off the bat, and we could technically go as high as 9th. Now, obviously, you still have to win the game, and that's something we kind of struggle with as of late. I'm not going to make overwhelming changes to the tactic at all just yet. Like I said, I just don't see the point in taking a 5-game sample size where there's been disparate results, where there were some good ones in there too, and then using that as a blueprint to make drastic changes. It just doesn't seem like the right way to go for me right now. I'm actually happy to keep going as things are, even if we do have some more absolute shocking results, just to see where those holes can be plugged. And I can see easily in some of the games where there's some gaps, but the thing is, we're not conceding the same type of goal in all of those matches. That game in the last episode was the first time that we'd really been carved open in that way, and I remember a game like that with Leicester as well, and it didn't happen that often. But I do feel like as we move up the leagues with this type of style of play, we will find that type of play more often. Now, one of the things we came up with as an idea as to how to prevent that was actually the thing with the BWM, and I'm tempted at some point to maybe try that again, particularly as we do have a guy who is extremely good for that role. So that might be the best thing, just to see us through to the end of the season, maybe, but I don't want to do it just yet. Maybe next episode. Also, apologies for the sound issue at the end of the last video. I think that I'm just kidding. Basically, I clicked the wrong button just as I was finishing editing the video, and I didn't realise it until afterwards. So that's good. I don't think that's ever happened in that way before. So hey, a new way to screw up. I have got a potential right back in the works, but he wouldn't be a first choice right back. He'd just be another player that would give us a little bit more of a backup, because that seems to be one area we've struggled to find fitness levels in. I want to try out Mr. Ukrainian Man as the striker for today's game. I realise that he doesn't have anywhere near the levels that Greksho does, but I just... do I want to try? You know, I think I kind of do want to try it. The issue I have with Pihoreli is a very obvious one, really. When you actually look at him for pressing forward, now I know that obviously we could just play him as a different role, but again, don't want to start mucking too much with the tactic just yet. The issue with him here is, I mean, it's glaring. The bravery and concentration is one. He has some pretty big issues. I'm going to start Attila Osvart today because I feel like he deserves it. Plus, he's got some decent set-piece ability, which is super important, as you'll have already seen. Part of me also wonders if we could switch Jurisic and Tolic over, because Jurisic is actually a very good BBM, and I wonder if it's more to do with their footedness, though. But for now, I'm willing to leave it as it is. It's actually crazy that we still haven't got that much match sharpness in a lot of these players either. The rest of the team I'm going to leave as it is for now, although, actually, is there any players coming back in? Honestly, not really. The bench is pretty much as good as it's going to be at the moment. I could easily see us losing 15 players this summer and bringing in 20. That's how much of an overhaul is going to be required. But for today, we play against Kazinch Barshika. That, again, apologies for the pronunciation. I'm going to stop apologising for the pronunciations now. Like, you know I'm not going to be great at the names. I'm doing my best. So, they only have a single lone striker. Their wingers are going to be providing some kind of width pushing up, but they are going to have quite deep starting positions, which should hopefully allow us to control that area of the pitch, but they are going to have a lot of bodies. But I just want to see how Pihoreli does through the middle today, and maybe just having a little bit of an extra, I don't know, extra height, slightly different attributes in that role could make a difference for us. See, it's situations like that where I just wish that they'd be intercepting those, and they really should be. It's such an easy interception to make, but they're not. And I do wonder if there's things like, you know, familiarity, all sorts of issues, and we're literally behind inside a minute as Tibor Oldal. And it all came from Bladia not making a really basic interception. And I don't know how you can tactically say anything about that at that point. Like, the ball is coming right towards him. He just has to take one step to his left. And then, I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of play that happens before that. 3 players in the box there. None of them try and challenge for the header. Ooh. Uh-oh. Raksh. And it's actually another one. I'm starting to be believing now that our goalkeeper simply doesn't want to play for us anymore. Well, We know that already. 2-0 down. They've scored both of their shots again. This goalkeeper is literally conceding every single shot on target we are receiving at this point, and I think I have to drop him. Well, I mean, we've actually just played really badly again, but once again, 2 shots on target, 2 goals. I mean, if our goalkeeper can't save anything, then he has to be dropped, to be honest. I honestly don't care how good he is, allegedly, if he's not going to make any saves ever. I've switched Pahorley to an advanced forward for the second half. I've also pushed us to more attacking, higher tempo, because we've got more possession anyway, and also working the ball into the box too. I don't know if it's going to make much difference, really, but it's worth a test at this point when you consider the situation. You might as well have a crack at something. Turisic. Oh, yes, good ball. Osvar needs to find a good cross all the way through, and it's well... See, that's what a goalkeeper does. Well done. They've got a goalkeeper. There's definitely more intent about us in this second period so far. Can he pull it back across? He does. Stahl, and cleared away again. Okay. This highlight just keeps on going. Tolic, Bladia, Ferrant, he's going to get the shot away, and he's... Oh, what a save. The goalkeeper, what a save. But the second half, we've actually played really, really well so far. We're getting into tackles, we're winning the ball, we're carving them open into good positions to get shots away, and just can't seem to find the back of the net now. Osvar with the ball through. Bladia again, Kovacevic, Stahl with the strike, and it's 2-1 here, and we have been brilliant in this second period. I don't know whether it's to do with... There's all sorts of factors that it could be because of, and we'll obviously try to deconstruct that after the match, but definitely seeing a lot more out of us in this second period right now. Pahorley still having a terrible game, but we're just getting players into good positions. Stahl scores his second goal of the season for us anyway. Right, okay, this is promising now, potentially. Oh, it's a penalty. Hang on. Whoa. What? We just got like a ghost penalty. We never saw the penalty given. Okay, that's a new one. GGFM. Tartar for now, I suppose. Okay, we've just been handed a chance here. Who's taking it? Is it Stahl again? Oh, come on, Albert. If you pull us back into this one right now, Albert Stahl from the spot steps up and it's scored. Oh, Szeged are level away from home as Albert Stahl scores his 3rd goal for us since we've joined. And he has been the one man that has really been fighting for the cause so far. And out of nowhere, 15 minutes into the second half, we've gone from 2-0 down to 2-2 and have dominated this second period. Come on, lads. It is looking like it's going to be 2-2. I mean, we've done very well to come back from the absolute cluster that was the beginning of this match, and I think it has definitely given us a nice base to build something on. Or unless, as if he blows the whistle while we're on the edge of their penalty area. Referee. Okay, so it might not be a win, but you can definitely see that the changes we made a difference in this match, and we still managed to concede the only 2 shots on target they had. This goalkeeper is not playing for us anymore. I actually don't care how good his attributes are. He is literally a liability right now, and so is Yelik Balter as well. These two are the 2 biggest troublemakers at the moment, and I do wonder if we should just drop them both entirely and go with youngsters instead, because just need better squad fluidity, you know? Right, some games off camera. I'm going to use this, maybe not starting off in the next game, but as an idea to build on potentially, and hopefully... we might be working in the right direction now. Christ, though. That could have been so much better still. Right then. So, we're back, and we actually got a 0-0 draw away at 4th place, Vasas. Vasas, for those of you who are maybe new to the channel, were a team I very nearly did my original Building a Nation... No, not original, sorry, instead of Polonia. But we were very poor in the first half, because I went back to our normal approach, how we started the last game, and in the second half, I changed over to the new idea that we've been kind of working on as a sort of backup tactic, and you can see, we grew into this game quite dramatically. Now, you'll also notice that I started... Asvani in goal, and I brought back NZ and dropped the 2 troublemakers, basically, and instantly our defence started to look a little bit better. Keeper had a pretty solid game, actually made some saves, imagine that. So a well-earned point, I'd say. Good stuff. And then next up, we hosted Spartacus. Took the same exact sort of mentality into this game. And after 4 minutes, Stahl put the ball around the side, and Grekshaw was able to slam us in front against a side technically worse than us in the league after 5 minutes, which was good stuff. Then on 58 minutes in the second half, Kovacevic puts the ball through here for Grechko, gets on the end of it, and scores his 2nd goal of the night to put us 2 goals up on the hour mark against Spartacus, and a very, very good win in the end. Now, I actually made a mistake when I was setting up the team for this, because I decided that we needed a secondary tactic, so I made a new version with the changes I'd made previously in the couple of games, and I in one of the games also moved the BBM to a ball-winning midfielder. However, when I was building the tactics, I got confused as to which one I was touching to change it up. I ended up putting a ball-winning midfielder in the original version of the tactic, and we started this game with that, and actually looked quite good with that approach in this game. So I feel like that's definitely something we could build on in this one. Sadly, things weren't quite as good against Girmot. However, once again, it was still a very, very strong defensive performance. We might not have won both of those home. We haven't won those 2 games, but we have got 2 0-0 draws. I don't think we've actually conceded a goal since Manu Man has come in as the goalkeeper, which is actually quite impressive. Just to see that these guys are doing a much better job, and you can see once again, really carried by the defenders in this game and couldn't quite get a lot going in attack. But again, like I said last time, building from the back is fine. However, we did get a late red card in this game. Özcan came off the bench and then almost immediately got sent off with a straight red, just went straight through someone. So disappointing on that one. And all that leaves us, well, 14th in the league, but we are now 11 points above the drop zone, and that's kind of really been put in the wing mirrors at this point. And we are now back into that battle to see if we can grab ourselves a top 10 spot. So again, we've managed to steady the ship somewhat over the course of this episode. Yes, we've drawn 3 of the 4 games, but we've looked pretty good in the last few. But I think we've made some progress. Progress is finally being made. You love to see it. And I think we are moving in the right direction. Now, we did have a slight injury problem to my man, the Romanian lad we had on loan. So Nandori's had to go back to playing that left-hand side, which isn't fantastic as he is left only. But he's done okay in the games. Well, he's been okay, really. But again, you can see match fits is building up. Players seem a lot happier. New goalkeeper's come in and done a stellar job. Like, Asvanje has rescued us in many ways, compared to Old Man, who you can see I've dropped him completely out of the squad. The same with Jelic Balta. They've not played any of those matches. And the new lads that have come in, I think, have done a fine job. Nevertheless, I'm still excited about what we can come up with today. So I'll just show you tactically as well. So this was the same version of the original tactic, and the mistake I made was messing around with the tactics and accidentally put a ball-winning midfielder in this one. Seemed to work quite nicely. So for now, I'm going to actually leave it in there. And the other one, essentially, was with the advanced forward, has higher tempo, work ball into the box. I also put pass into space on. You'll have seen it with the way that Grechko's goal in the game we won was very much an example of that pass into space. Doesn't always work though, because it finds that it limits our build up in the way that we like to do it. And it also has more aggressive pressing play. The only other thing I've had a look at as well is some of our positioning from set pieces, particularly defensively. I found that we weren't leaving enough players up the pitch to allow us to break on teams on the counter, particularly, and this is an interesting one, from defensive throw-ins. Our defensive throw-in setup had so many players back that we were getting penned in our own half whenever a team won a throw-in against us, and some of the positions were all over the place. So I fixed that now, and it does seem to look a little bit better, although that was only one game example. So today, obviously, Jurisic can't play in the midfield, but it's not the end of the world, because I will be able to bring in Mutavcic, who can play that role perfectly as it goes. So that's fine. Rest of the bench, though, is going to need some new players brought in. But that, again, is totally fine. Lawrence, as well, is a guy who was complaining about wanting to leave potentially, but not in a bad way. He was just worried about the amount of football he's getting. Can actually play in this left-hand side on his right foot. So maybe he could do a job off the bench. He's just nowhere near as good as Nandori. Screw it. We'll get another Nagy on the bench. We'll have double Nagy on the bench. That's fine. I want to prioritise players that want to be here, to be honest. And it actually seems to be working. And I really, really like that as our dynamic in FM. Now, that might be completely coincidental, but I really love that players that want to be here seem to be playing better than the ones that don't. Imagine that, eh? Also, I realise that his name is pronounced Deutsch, and also it means German, not Dutch. So I don't know where I'm getting that from. I'm in the Red Dead head right now. Arthur Morgan will be most disappointed. Media have been backing... Ooh, okay. Is that the right approach? Yeah, okay, apparently it is. I always worry when my assistant comes up with some quite avant-garde suggestions in these games. Right then, I think the chances of us actually keeping a 4th consecutive clean sheet are pretty slim, but were we to get it, we only need 1 goal. That's the great thing about being so defensively stable, is you only need to score 1 goal to get it over the line and make it happen. And one of the things we've done so well over this period, and as you can see, again, we're starting with the more original tactic with the BWM again, because I think that's a really nice base to build on. The other one seems to work better when we're chasing games or trying to win one when it's looking in our favour, but we're struggling to actually make the breakthrough. But if we could grab ourselves another draw here, or even pull out a magical win or something, I just want to make sure that we look, okay, again, defensively stable. Ooh. Oh, it's a great touch. It's a great finish. And it's a goal for Ferenc Kovacevic after 16 minutes. Scores his first ever senior goal. And if there's any player that deserves a goal this season, there's always one player for me that I single out like that. It is him. Mendy was it last year. Kovacevic drops the ball off, makes a lovely little run in between the defenders, but he's got so much work to do here. The first touch is absolutely perfect and the finish is wonderful. He's been the best trainer at the entire club, regularly pulling out 9s in training. So happy for Ferenc. So I think it definitely makes us more stable. Now, it does limit us in attack somewhat, which is why I don't think we're going to be quite as attackingly we won't be as... Wow, okay. It took minutes for them to grab an equaliser. I did not expect... I just didn't think that he was going to head that like that. I think we did a lot right here, really. It's not a particularly dangerous position for him to win a header. Usually they just go on target, but it's actually a brilliant header. I just don't think you can really legislate for that. That is superb. Nandori again out on the right-hand side, though. On his left foot. He'd be able to get some good crosses in to whip some, perhaps, rather than... Oh, he actually done exactly that as we go back in front straight away. Albert Stahl, the man of... I mean, he has been the main man in this squad for us lately. The one guy that I feel like I can rely on in this team currently, along with the back four over the latest games. But it is now 2-1. We've scored 2 goals in the first 20 minutes of this match, away from home. What a ball in from Nandori. Great ball in, and Stahl's on the end of it. I think that might be 2 assists for Nandori on the night, potentially. Great goal. And it's another good ball out wide for Nandori. And once again, if he can stand his defender up and put another ball in... Oh, it's another goal! It's 3-1, and Grechko has scored his 10th goal of the season, and out of nowhere, we are 3-1 up away from home. Oh, the relief on my face here. We have just got some quality for once. And really, the goal they scored was phenomenal. And I can't blame the defenders for it, but Nandori again with the ball in. Lovely little knockdown header. We almost did the exact same thing they did with the beautiful header. It's 3-1. Come on, lads. Half time, and it is 3-1 to Szeged. Kovacevic, Stahl, and Grechko with the goals. I mean, that is just the perfect first half. To score 3 first half, obviously, we are massively... I don't believe we deserve to be 3-1 up in this game. But, you know, I'm happy to take those 4-0 results when we look a bit like it shouldn't be 4-0, because you get these as well. So it kind of is, as I always say, swings and roundabouts and all that jazz. Tolic is just sat there scooping up possession every time it's cleared away. And that's brilliant. He's always an option for us, and he's not making any dangerous runs forward. He'll just maintain that position there to continually recycle possession for us. It's going to drop down again. Grechko's still got it. Stahl's ball in. It's 4-1. Mirko Mutavcic makes it 4-1 to Szeged, and this is an absolute rout now. I mean, we've shown a little bit of quality in some of the off-camera games, but this is a different level of quality. They just, I mean, look at the defending from them here. Grechko does really well to drop this off. Stahl drops it in, and that is a superb scissor kick volley from Mutavcic. Come on! A landmark victory at this team, as it feels like we are now finally starting to turn the tide of the players in this club. And just, who knew that putting players in the team that actually want to be there would be the result that we needed? I just like that FM doesn't punish you. Oh, is this going to be that random disallowed goal? Yeah. That FM doesn't punish you for doing that, and it actually seems to have a net benefit. You can really see that their goal was about the only attacking threat they posed in the entire match there. What a performance from the lads. 4-1. Superb. Come on. And it might only... Oh, it actually pushes us up to 11th in the end. I think there must have been a late goal elsewhere. We now move 13 points above the drop zone. 7 games to go. I think our target just has to be getting top 10, really, from here. Seeing how good of a run we can go on for the rest of the season, starting to bed some players in now. I'm seeing what I wanted to see. And I think this is what I mean about how you don't always have to make overwhelming changes to the tactic. Because remember, this game was still the original tactic, just with a ball and a midfielder, and that's the only difference. And a couple of little bits to do with defensive setups for, like, set pieces. Yeah, it is. It is 5 unbeaten, and almost more importantly in some ways, only 1 goal conceded in our last 4 games. The team had a solid defensive setup as it is when we came in, and we actually lost a bit of that to start with, but now I think we're gaining that back. And when you don't concede many goals, you don't need many goals to win. So, next episode, we're starting off at home against Budafok as well. 16th place. There's a definite winnable game in there. It does get a bit tougher there after that, but then look, like, okay, it's going to be, next episode is kind of a case of big wins potentially, or like big defeats, so it could be a bit of both, but we'll see how we do against some of the better sides. You never know. Also, there'll be a youth intake in there as well, so that's going to be exciting as well. So if you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have, because I'm ecstatic with that. What on earth was this attendance? Nobody could be bothered. They all left at like 30 minutes into the game, and I don't really blame them. Drop a like, that'd be great. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, so go follow over there too, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I wonder where predictions, friends. Where do you think we'll actually finish this year? I reckon 10th. I think we've got enough about us, particularly with some of the games beyond here as well, 15th, 19th, 10th. I think 10th is definitely doable for us at this point, and I will be ecstatic with that. Up the players who want to be here. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hold your gun. Capybara. Bye-bye.